So what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Robert. If this is your first time tuning in. So today we are going to be covering another unconventional side hustle. Again, another way to make some extra cash, especially during these tough times. A lot of people are just reaching out and searching the internet as well for ways to make some extra cash. So some of the ways we can do this, there's many different ways. We're going to talk about a couple. We're going to talk about one actually, and particularly we talk about a couple on the channel. But one of the side hustles that I kind of used to do as a kid growing up in an area where we had a lot of alcoholics and a lot of people that used to drink alcohol and stuff like that. A lot of the people used to just sit outside and throw their beer cans. So one thing I started doing was picking up cans. Now, it does take a lot of cans to make a lot of money, but it's better than sitting at home and making zero. So picking up cans is going to be the side hustle for today. It's not a very lavish side hustle. It's not an exciting side hustle, but it makes some extra money. So how I used to kind of, pick up cans, I first started off just kind of driving around a block with my bike. I used to ride my bike everywhere and just pick up cans, just like with a sack on my back. Again, I was a kid and I made this little stick to where, because I used to walk first, I guess. So let me backtrack a little bit. So I used to walk around and actually pick up the cans and carry a bag with me and put them in a bag. Then from there, I kind of just transitioned into making my own little stick. I just made like a broomstick or like a shovel stick, and I put a nail on the bottom of it. I drilled a hole and put a nail in there, and so that way I could just walk by and pick up cans that way. It was a little bit faster instead of me having to bend down and collect the cans. And then from there, I kind of transitioned into, I actually bought a bike. So I bought a bike, and then from there I was able to drive around with one hand. I had a sack on my back, and I started using the little stick with the nail. But then I realized it was really hard to kind of stick the can and put it in my backpack. It would kind of get a little hung up. So I ended up buying the little claw looking things. So that way I would be on my bike and I could use the claw and pick up the can and drop it. And it was a little easier. So that's how I kind of started doing this. It was just, again, some extra ways to make some extra money. Again, I was a kid, probably, man, I don't even know, maybe 10, 11, 12, somewhere in that range. I don't know exactly how old I was, but I know I was a kid. And again, it helped me to kind of get started, just doing things, just earning some income. Most of the money at that time, I would just give it to my mom and she would save it for me. Now, I know a lot of you guys are going to be interested in to know how much money was I making back then. Back then, I had I don't know how big it was, a big old, I mean, I was a kid, so this thing was like 10,000 feet tall, but it wasn't that tall. It was probably about 5 foot, maybe a 5 foot sack. I don't remember where I got this thing from, to be honest with you. I probably just found it around the house and I decided to use it for that. But I had a 5 foot sack and I had it leaning against the house. And every time I'd come back from my bike and picking up cans, I'd empty out my little trash bag inside that sack. Every time I filled up, I knew I would have $100 worth of cans. I already knew my dad would drive me and take me to sell my cans. And we were selling cans kind of frequently. So I was making probably at that time, probably like $300-400 a month extra. Because I was filling up a sack full of cans about once a week. Again, I'm a kid, so I still have school. I still have other things to do. So I was doing this any chance I could get. Pretty much every day, any chance I could get. Now, some quick tips that I would kind of give to people that want to start doing this. Again, $400 extra a month for picking up cans is not a bad little side hustle. Again, I was making a lot of rounds picking up cans, but again, I was a little kid. If you're a little bit older, maybe you have a vehicle and you can actually just do less rounds and just store them in the trunk of your car or in the back of your truck and then take them. It's a lot easier for you. But some of the things I kind of learned when I was doing this was that if you go to the ditches, I don't know what you guys call them in your area, I call them drainage ditches or like runoffs, where the water collects. Basically, after a rain, if there's areas that a lot of water moves, it usually will clean up the whole streets, and all the cans and aluminum will get pushed into a specific corner, and you literally don't have to be driving around as much. You can just drive to that specific location where the water just kind of pools and get all the cans out of there. So just little things like that you'll learn is that after a rain, a big rain, the streets will be cleaned up, and you can just go to wherever the water is going to be emptying out, and it'll save you a lot of time and a lot of driving around, and you can collect a lot of cans. Another good place to pick up cans is going to be at gas stations. Gas stations, I used to, every time I was with my dad, I'd go inside all the trash cans at the gas stations, and I'd get all the cans out of there and throw them in the back of my dad's truck. But there's a lot of people that drink at gas stations, especially in the not so good part of towns. You're going to find more and more cans. More and more people have more time to drink in those locations, in those areas. So I already knew, you know, specific areas where I could go and get more cans. Again, as a kid, I didn't know it's because they had more time to drink. I just, oh, this is an area that I always find a lot of cans in. But yeah, those are good spots. Some other good spots are like little fishing creeks, rivers. There's always freaking piles of cans by the banks and stuff like that. Every time I still do, I go fishing a lot, and every time we go fishing, I'd come back with probably 2 or 3 trash can bags full of just cans, guys, cans. Because people like to sit and drink and fish, so, and they just throw their cans there. So a couple other areas that I can think of would be events. If you have like a little festival, there's always going to be people drinking. So again, it doesn't have to be alcohol. It can be soda cans as well, anything aluminum. People are drinking at those festivals and events as well. So that's another good area that you can get a lot of cans in a small environment. Some other areas, I'm trying to think of some other areas I used to go to. I think those are going to be mostly it. Gas stations were for sure one. Every time we go fishing at the rivers and creeks, that was another one. Drainage ditches, when the water kind of resides, it pushed all the cans to a specific area. Festivals or events is another one. And I want to say those are pretty much the main ones that I would target. You can target like stores like Walmart's, H-E-B's. They have trash cans in their parking lots. I didn't used to do those particularly, but I would, if I saw like a bunch of cans, I would go over there and pick them up. But I wasn't going and looking for them at those areas. But if they were obvious, then yeah, I would definitely stop and pick them up. But those are going to be pretty good spots to kind of help you get started, to maximize your time and your money. That's about the only piece of advice that I can offer you from my experience in doing this, is just target those high traffic areas where you know there's gonna be a lot of cans, and you can make a little bit more money than you would just driving around all around town. So without further ado, guys, appreciate you guys watching. Until next time, be careful, be good, take care, and God bless. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.